All right, guys, what's up? Sorry for the lateness. Had some if I could talk, technical difficulties with my webcam, which is just truly the story of my life for whatever reason. Webcams, they don't work for me. I don't get it until they do work, and then they don't work. So here we are. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your patience. I see Rob is in the house. I see Thomas is here. Gil was wearing Second Soul. A great choice, I must say. Hey, Sarah. David's here from Greece. Let me know that you guys can hear me okay. This is real lo-fi live stream today. Got the AirPods, not using my regular mic. Honestly, it's my fault. Hey, Phoenix. I tried to change it up. I wanted to use a different setup. And there's this whole, I think they call it, I can't remember, continuity cam, Apple continuity camera, or whatever. Apple is doing this thing where you can use your iPhone as a webcam with your Mac, and it's so finicky. It has to be like the exact right position in terms of the phone's vicinity or proximity to the computer, and it's just dumb. So anyway, you have to deal with the fuzzy me on this Saturday. Malcolm says 93. Oh man, not a big fan. Not a big fan of those temperatures. We're getting them at some point soon here. But I don't know Lucky by Christian Dior. Don't know that one. I hope no one was offended by how I presented this live stream with the thumbnail and whatnot. I was a little back and forth on how I wanted to market it. And I decided to use the other side of the coin as just something a little bit more interesting. So if you are offended and you like Rasasi Hawass, know that I'm not saying it's terrible. I'm just saying we can talk about other things. Montreal. All right. Do not know that fragrance, Dark Matters. Do not know it. Mohammed in Kuwait. I don't know Beryl. I do not know Beryl, but I know others from the brand. Good stuff. Christopher from Sweden. Welcome. Electinus Imperium. I feel like I have tried that. I know I have a decant of it somewhere, but I don't remember what it smells like. Oh, we got the heat wars here. 113. See, I'm not about that. That's too hot, guys. I mean, I grew up in that kind of heat. In Central California, where I grew up, summers were triple digits every day. It was dry desert heat, mind you, but hot nonetheless. So I totally understand those 110 plus temperatures. Totally get it. That sounds like a nice day. I still need to try. Is that the new one, Hobby Rouge Privé? If that's the new one, I still need to try it. Can I speak on Lalique Ombre Noir? I've actually spoken on it several times on my channel in many different videos. I couldn't tell you the most recent one. I know that I did a video with Grace. The last video I did with Grace was an Ishane video. The video before that, which was the first video she was in this year, we featured Ombre Noir, and I've talked about it several times before then. So go back to those videos. Said it's spectacular. Okay. As I always say, for those of you who are new to the live stream, what I like to do for the first 10 minutes or so is to just talk to you guys, interact, answer questions. So if you're waiting for, let's get down to business kind of thing, you have less than 5 minutes to wait. So hold those horses. Mm, okay. I take it are these blind purchases? If so, I hope you enjoy them. Already can't wait for fall. Yep, I get it. Pulled the trigger on Triumph of Bacchus. I hope you enjoy it. I love that stuff. No guarantee that you will, but I hope you do. Edward from Spain. Good to see you. Yeah, check it out if you can. Several videos. The spoilers that I like it. I like it quite a bit. 101F night? See, I'm not about that. When it's 100 plus degrees at night, nah, I'm good. I'm good. That's too hot. Ojavray, you have such an interesting avatar. But Ojavray is awesome. Hmm. Dane's next. Dane's good stuff. Kind of a sexy scent. It's very intoxicating, especially as it hangs in the air. At work, but tuned in. Rain Essence. Good stuff. Beautiful simplicity. That's where I'm Viking. I really dig Viking. Old video game. That would explain it. Thanks for the clarity. Hmm. I have not heard a peep out of Argos in quite some time. We haven't actually spoken in many months. So I imagine that there's some peripheral stuff going on. Life happens, and that's what I would imagine could be the holdup. People have to deal with other things outside of you know their business. So there's a beautiful hawk outside the window. If I was using my phone, I could show you, but the computer's not so mobile. Yeah, I imagine it's just some other stuff outside of the business that is creating a holdup. Um, mhm. He is both. He's a perfumer and CEO. Adonis Awakens is beautiful. I wore that the other day. Use your code for sample set of Argos. I hope you enjoy it, man. They got some good stuff. Good diversity, great quality, easy to wear. Muggy St. Louis. Terre d'Hermes is a great choice for that. Rain Essence in today's video? Not today, but it's good stuff. Have I smelled Tangerine Boy? No, I don't even know if I've heard of that. Who makes it? What's your favorite bird? I don't know. I don't know if I have a favorite bird. I don't know if I've ever thought about that, but I do like birds in general. I'm kind of fascinated by them, especially hawks, falcons. Um, Eagles are pretty cool. We have some eagles out here in certain areas. Pallas Athena is wonderful. Some might say it's a little feminine because it does lean pretty heavy on florals, but there's a beautiful kind of raspberry fruitiness mixing with this kind of bouquet of florals, but there's a beautiful, almost like creamy, woody vanilla, like in the background, kind of filling it out. It's a beautiful scent. In fact, I love it on my wife. This hawk is freaking majestic. They nest in the buildings across the way here. It's interesting because we've been watching them since last year. And for those of you who don't know, hawks mate for life. So there's two, mother and a father, who are partners, and we always see them together. And one might come, and then another will meet them, a few minutes later, and they'll just kind of sit with each other. It's really, really precious. Last summer, we saw them raising their babies and teaching them how to fly. But then earlier this year, a bunch of crows came in, and crows can be freaking thugs. And they like kind of drove them out, and they would bully them. Every time the hawks would come back, the crows would gang up and try to take them out of the air. It was crazy to watch. But for whatever reason, the crows moved on. Maybe they wanted to escape the heat or something. So the hawks are back. They got their domain, and they are living large. Okay, let's get started here. We're beyond the 10-minute mark. So what I wanted to do today, as you can see in the description, is, it's funny, I got my phone set up. I don't need this here. Like it's looking at me. I'll unplug that. Yeah, so summer fragrances. When you think of summer fragrances, especially here on YouTube, throughout videos, we see a lot of the same suspects. The same fragrances, kind of recycled, repeated, restated, reiterated, whatever word you want to use. And yeah, that's cool. It's fine. But I figured, why not do a short little, piece dedicated to some fragrances that are great for summer, but are different. They're not going to be shower gel. They're not going to be, just like fruity bubblegum aquatic. They're not going to be, um, the gamut. You know what I'm talking about. All the typical stuff. Obviously, Hawass is one of those fragrances. And again, I'm not saying Hawass is a bad scent. Perhaps some would say it's maybe a victim of its success, but beyond its success, I think it as a scent is fine. It's just not special, and that's okay. But, as a result, it overshadows many fantastic fragrances. So I just wanted to, as Rob said, yeah, change it up. Just want to change it up for you guys. Put some fragrances on your radar that are not popping up in videos. When will we see a haircut live stream? I don't know. Probably never, but we'll see. If you are telling unique and I hear light blue or something, I'm going to lose my mind. We are not talking about light blue. Don't you worry. Let's get started here. So I got 9 fragrances. Some of them you may have heard of, some of them maybe not. Either way, there's going to be links to everything down in the description where you can try them. First one up, no particular order here. I actually have this on my hand. I don't know if you're going to see this. Can you guys see that there's like gold flakes on my skin? See, they look like little specks, but it's actually gold. It's ridiculous. And it has nothing to do with why I like this fragrance, but it's just part of the experience. This is Riviera Drive from Atelier des Ors. Look at those gold flakes floating around. This is a gorgeous scent experience. Now, disclaimer for those that care, and I know many of you do care about this greatly, this is not a strong performer. It's a niche fragrance that doesn't necessarily last. And I know for many that combination is absolute blasphemy. It's like, nope, you will not catch me out here spending this much money on a fragrance that's not going to last me through the day. And what I have to say to that is, that's fine. Do your thing. I'm not upset about it. But if you're asking me, regardless of performance, I think this is a beautiful wearing experience. Now, it is citrus forward. It's very, very citrus heavy, and it's hard to expect much more out of a fragrance like that when it's very citrus heavy. Citruses are very volatile. They evaporate quickly. So what's in this fragrance? When you spray this on, you get lemon, very juicy, kind of realistic lemon, but there's a sweetness to it. It's a fruity lemon that is borderline candy, but not quite there. Not like What am I thinking of? You know, Oud Lemon Mint from Mancera can have this candied lemon feel. This is not quite like that. It's more aromatic. It's a little bit more natural smelling, and it's made very aromatic by herbs, by like rosemary. Um, and there's this kind of creaminess behind it, which is really beautiful, a creamy softness. There's technically absinthe in the heart, which it doesn't come off overtly like absinthe. Absinthe, I always equate to some kind of like licorice feel. And not everyone digs that. It's not heavy in this. I could tilt my head and see, yeah, I can kind of see how it's a licorice feel, but it is kind of a generic boozy quality. That may not sound great. It's almost like a vodka, like a spirit type of booziness, but it's kind of tucked away. It's not really what defines the fragrance, but it is an important nuance. So overall, this is slightly sweet, tart, mouth-watering, juicy lemon, very bright, aromatic with rosemary. So a little bit green and not green, but kind of herbaceous in a way. There's a spicy quality to it with this kind of creamy warmth behind it and a little bit of a spirity, boozy feel. It's nice. I like it. It's worth a sample. Don't blind buy it. Don't blind buy it. Get a sample if that sounds interesting. Thank you, Vulcanist. I appreciate that. Le Beau. That's good stuff for a designer. I need to revisit that collection. Catch My Whiff. I need a fragrance to last 4 or 5 hours. I like to reapply, so anything more than that is a bonus. Great. I can totally get behind that. This honestly is probably going to last you 4 to 5 hours. So again, some of you are going to be like, nope. And people like Catch My Whiff are like, yeah. So as they say, different strokes. Let's keep it moving. Next one up here. This fragrance was released by Tom Ford. I want to say, maybe 2016, 2017. Didn't last long. It was discontinued. And then they brought it back. I want to say like 2 years ago. Now, I did try it when it came out. I got a decant of it. I did a video on it, doing my first impressions. And at the time, I was like, you know what? This is really special, but I can't see myself wearing this. So, but I knew that I would come back to it and that I would probably like it, which was the case. It was re-released 2 years ago as an Ulta exclusive. I grabbed the bottle real quick, and I just heard that it's been discontinued again. So maybe it's gone for good now. But if it's not, I do recommend checking out Oud Minérale. And this is not for everyone. In terms of unique summer fragrances, this is a poster child of this topic. I will say this, on paper, this is not pleasant. Paper ruins this fragrance. On paper, honestly, it smells like a dry erase marker. So I would be very wary of getting a sample and putting it on paper. I mean, you could say that about any fragrance because your skin is not made of paper. Don't let that be the final say. On paper here, it's like, no, this is such a false representation. But on the skin, I can assure you, this is. I did a video. I actually filmed a video yesterday that'll come out sometime next week, where I'm taking a different approach to reviewing fragrances. And it's not a totally unique approach. In fact, I saw another reviewer do a whole series in this regard, and that was kind of my inspiration. And I have kind of implemented this idea here and there, but not explicitly. But in that video, I'm basically trying to describe fragrances in a more digestible way. So rather than saying it has driftwood, it has seaweed, it has aquatic notes, it has oud, like, does that really tell you what it smells like? So the best thing I can do to describe a fragrance that is as transportive as this is to try to paint a picture. And the picture I would paint is charred driftwood in the middle of the Pacific Ocean during a storm. So that woodiness is soaked in salt water. but it's charred. So it was burning at some point. It doesn't smell like fire, but there is a smoky nuance. And it's kind of tumultuous. It's kind of dark. Again, there's a storm. So the sky is cloudy, it's gray, it's gloomy. The ocean is very, very volatile. That is the vibe I get here. Aquatic with darkness. Very interesting stuff. Again, not for everyone. If you do get it on your skin, don't do that. And thank me later. Moving on. Have you guys tried that one? Thomas said, I just found a bottle last week. Cool. August said, I've never tried this one. Yeah, well, hopefully I give you an idea of what it's like. Of course, Safria. Thank you for being here. Raja Oceania for summer. Definitely. That's a lovely scent for summer. It's not in this video, but that's a great scent. Is Burlington 1819 mature smelling? It depends on how you define mature smelling. I would say it's not juvenile. It doesn't smell like a young high school kid would wear it. It does have a classiness to it, but that's not necessarily, it doesn't have to be tied to age. It's tied to your soul. How do you feel and how do you carry yourself in your soul? Do you have a maturity to you? If that is your vibe, then yeah, it'll be great. If it's not, then you may not vibe with it, and that's okay. Let's move on. This one is different. This is a very unique profile because the best way I would classify this is it's an amber aquatic. You probably don't hear that very often. This stuff is different. Yeah, so there is this warm, slightly dusty, sweet quality to it. But it is freshened by a saltiness, by an almost aquatic feel. There's a little bit of sweetness in there from osmanthus. Osmanthus is a fruity type of floral, almost like an apricot or any kind of stone fruit, like peaches or apricots or nectarines or something like that. It's kind of like that type of juicy sweet fruitiness with some violet flower as well. And it has this musky, salty airiness from that ambergris. So I'm talking about white whale. I should have just said it already. Masque Milano white whale. So this is, I don't know if I can associate this with something else. I would need some time to think about it, and I don't want to waste time. But it's aquatic. There is a salty, airy freshness from the salt notes from the ambergris. So overall, it does come off that way. It comes off like sea air, but it's heavy sea air with this kind of dense sweetness that has a core of almost a fruitiness. The sweetness is ambery warm, but then at the core of that is this fruit quality. Now, to some people, this is going to smell a little medicinal. I could see that. I feel like there's mastic in here. I'm curious now. Let's see, I'm looking it up on my iPad here. White whale. No, it's not mastic. I'm thinking of something else. There's something in here that comes off a little bit medicinal. Maybe it's just a combination of things. Olibanum, I forgot, adds to this kind of airy, dusty quality. It is incense, but it's cooling. This is different stuff. I can't guarantee you guys are all going to dig this, but I find it to be I've never smelled anything like this, first of all, but I think it's perfectly wearable. It's just very unique as per this video. So, with fragrances like this that really lean different, you're better off, if you like it, you're better off wearing it dressed up. It's just going to work better. Max is saying syrupy. Not quite syrupy. I don't know if I could explain it better. I do apologize. Yeah, I think that's the best I could say right now. I mean, medicinal as in like natural herbs, like an aloe vera or a eucalyptus type of vibe. It doesn't smell like that, but that's what I mean by medicinal. Um, it's slight and it's mainly up close. So, as I always say, don't let that be the final say. Okay, let's keep it moving. Up next is a unique one, but one that is way less complicated than what we've already talked about. Way less complicated. This one is easy to digest. The only problem is that it's so good. It's in the air. The only problem is that it's not that easy to find, but it's so good. I wore this yesterday and I was really digging it. It's Roadster from Cartier. Yeah, we got to get some bona fide designers on here. Tom Ford is one, but that is kind of a niche scent from Tom Ford. Um, Roadster. I did recently feature this in my mint video, all about mint. I saw Sarah was asking, any plans to do a video on osmanthus? I did not have any plans to do that, um, nor do I think I have a ton of osmanthus forward fragrances. I might, I forget about stuff all the time that I have, so I'll have to go back and see what I have. But I do like the ingredient. Um, what do I think? I still haven't tried that. I still haven't tried gin tonic. I know people are talking all about it. Oh, interesting question. If you have Coco Loco, do I think getting coconut daiquiri is redundant? I'll be honest with you guys. I have some content that I'll be doing, including Sphinx fragrances. That's where coconut daiquiri comes from, if I'm not mistaken, right? That's the one. Um, I'll be talking more about Sphinx shortly. I have a few of their fragrances that they sent. One of them I really like. One of them is pretty good, and the other one is coconut daiquiri, which does not work for me. Um, that being said, I do think it's a little redundant, but it's hard for me to even compare because I simply just like Coco Loco way more. It's just more palatable for me. Something about the Sphinx is a little, I don't know, it was like a little too sweet or just thick. I don't know. There's something about it that kind of made me have to get away from it. I couldn't just keep smelling it. It was on my hand and I was just getting whiffs and I'm just like, I don't want to get any closer to this stuff. It wasn't drawing me in. I'll give it another shot. I have to give it that full wearing and take my own advice. But to answer your question, yes, I do think they could serve the same purpose. Anyway, let's continue with Roadster. This won't take long. It's a very simple scent. This is slightly sweet mint. Okay, I don't know if you guys have ever tried from Orbit Gum. They have a flavor that I think they call sweet mint. It's in that vein, right? If you've tried that flavor, that's not actually my favorite flavor, but this smells great nonetheless. It's a sweeter mint. There's a creaminess behind it. However, there's a nice balance of dry woodiness. So it's not just creamy sweet mint. There is this pointedness. There is a texture of this dryness to it, a woodiness that as it dries on the skin, it makes it smell a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit more refined. Um, something like Green Lover from Lolita Lempicka is in the same vein. There is mint, there is a creamy sweetness. There's also a lot of citrus in that one, but that one doesn't have a lot of woodiness. So it kind of just dries creamy. But this one has that woodiness that makes it a little bit more distinctive, I think. But simple scent overall, doesn't change a ton on my skin, but I was enjoying it yesterday. I was wearing it out in the heat and I was really liking it. Anyway, Cartier Roadster. There is a link down below to a bottle if Fragrance Buy still has them. I don't really recommend blind buying, but it's discontinued, so it's hard to even, I think, get a decant of that one. But when Fragrance Buy does have it, it's not that expensive. So that's cool. All right, continuing on. Another very transportive fragrance for me. And this one I could also describe to you in a more associative way rather than the combination of these notes create the fragrance kind of thing. From House of Sarah Baker, this is Greek Keys. I've enjoyed this one for a little while now. And the name is perfect. Jeez, wow. What this smells like is sea foam, like creamy, fresh sea foam washing up on the shore um, during sunset. So I just imagine like I'm facing west and I can see the sun setting over the ocean or the sea, more the sea than the ocean, I would say. Um, so yeah, creamy, fresh sea foam, a little sweet, almost in a vanilla-like way, and it's very just sea air kind of freshness, not salty, but there is this cooling ozonic feel to it. Now, in order to achieve a fragrance like this, it, if I'm not mistaken, it does use quite a bit of synthetic materials, but they are so well used here to really paint this picture, to recreate these scents. Um, this is nice stuff. It's very specific. This is a landscape in a bottle. And if you're looking for that type of scent experience, then this is one to consider. Beyond all that, it is very wearable. It smells beautiful. It smells very pleasant on the skin around you. Um, it doesn't come off like cologne in a way. It doesn't really smell like, oh yeah, you sprayed on a fragrance. I mean, it does because no one's is coming out smelling like sea foam, but it's not these very, very forward type of ingredients that you would expect in very overt fragrances like lavender or citruses or sweet fruits and things like that. It's a vibe. It kind of smells like the air in that environment, and I really dig that. So if you like it, again, that's Greek Keys. There's a link down below. Check it out. Jared Miller, thank you so much for the super chat. As always, really appreciate you. One of my friends here, moderator of the channel. Thank you, Jared. Um, yes, my reactions are intense. I can't control it. I still haven't tried it, Sandile. I still have not tried it. I'm hesitant because I already have Ideal Cologne and I hear it's mostly identical, maybe not exactly the same. So I want to try it without getting a bottle because I don't really feel like I need a bottle. Atlante, I think that's what you're talking about. That is a beautiful scent. Sarah Baker has so many beautiful fragrances. She is not a perfumer; she's a creative director, and owns the house and kind of runs the ship and really is responsible for the aesthetic. But she employs fantastic perfumers for each of her fragrances. Not too different from like Frederick Malle, where you have a new perfumer for every scent. Okay, that's how we know it's real and not fake. Yeah. All right. Next up, we got another designer fragrance here. This is one that I'm pretty sure many of you have tried, and I'm pretty sure half of you like it, half of you don't. I think it's a pretty polarizing scent. And I'll be honest, when I first tried this, I blind bought it. When it came out, I did not care for it. I was so disappointed. H24, this is the Eau de Toilette. I was so disappointed. And the reason is because I was framing this fragrance in the context of Hermes's previous truly original and new DNA for men, which was Terre Hermes. Since Terre Hermes, in terms of their men's marketed fragrance mainstream releases, it's all been flankers of Terre Hermes, and many of them have been great. H24 comes along, and I was like, ooh, new DNA. We don't see new DNAs all that much. I was so excited. I sprayed it on. I was like, this is so simple. Like, what is this? And it took me a few months to come around to it, giving it those full wearings and realizing, you know what? This is really different. Yes, simple, but nothing is really smelling like this in the designer market. They're definitely not following in the footsteps, excuse me, of someone else. So, metallic fresh, green, a little damp and earthy, not quite as much as the EDP. And there's this sweetness here that a lot of people equate to bananas. Ever since I've heard that, I can't unsmell it. There is this kind of, this sounds terrible, but it's kind of this artificial banana sweetness. But I think what it really is, it's the clary sage and the way it's blending with everything. Clary sage is a sweeter um, plant ingredient. And the way it mixes with this fresh metallic kind of minerally feel, with this kind of damp green earthiness, which comes from narcissus. That flower is not actually floral smelling, it's a little bit more earthy. Edward, thank you so much for the super chat. It means a lot. It's different, but I appreciate it, especially when I wear it. I give it that full wearing, and I'm wearing it out under the heat. It's, I mean, it actually gets a lot of attention if that matters to you, because there's something kind of familiar about it. It does smell like a fragrance. It smells like, oh yeah, you sprayed on something fresh and nice today. But at the same time, there's an element that catches people because it's like, but wait, what? That's different. What is that? It's that metallic, heavy metallic feel, I think. And yeah, I mean, H24, Hermes, they were going for something different, and I think they achieved it here. So it got a lot of mixed reviews. People are saying, "Oh, is Christine Nagel, is she, really doing good work with Hermes, and where are they going with this?" I think she's doing great work. The EDP, I think, is an even greater enhancement over the EDT. Both are great. It's really going to be, kind of picking whatever one you prefer. Um, anyway, I think it's a highly unique fragrance, and I wouldn't say no one's talking about it. People are talking about it from, here and there, but nowhere near as much as some other fragrances. Okay. Umida, thank you so much. That is really kind of you. Cheryl, thank you. Yeah, I need to do something with my hair, but this is kind of what it is right now. I've been sponging it and letting it kind of do its own thing. Rob Bliss, thank you so much. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate you. I feel so grateful for Rob. A lot of you guys don't know this, but I am in the Pacific Northwest, and Rob is not too far away in Canada. And I had a performance a couple months ago, and Rob surprised me by coming down because I had put it out to my community, and I know my Patreon followers knew that. Hello, hi, I'm live. Oh, you're going. Okay, I love you. I'll see you later. Grace is headed out. Um, anyway, yeah. So Rob came down and surprised me. He came to the gig and showed up, and I was like, "What?" Because I had known him. We'd done like Zoom calls and stuff, and I'd seen him before. It was just so crazy to see him pop in there. Um, so Rob, thank you for that once again. Okay, we got 3 more fragrances to get through. We'll just keep this moving. This next one is from Unique Luxury. Someone had mentioned that earlier. And man, I think a lot of you already know what this is. This is Akdeniz, the old bottle style. As you'll see, I haven't sprayed much of it. There's a tiny dent in this bottle, but I don't spray much because this stuff is too strong. Bottom line, it is actually too strong. But when worn in the right scenario, it's great. If you wear it when you know you're going to be outside all day, and I literally mean all day because it will last until the next day. If you're going to be outside in the sun all day long, it's great. A couple sprays of this, no more than 3, and you will be smelling it all day around you, and people around you will be smelling it. Now, that is not why I like this fragrance. I'm big on function. If I am trying to, decide on a fragrance for the day, and I know I'm going to be at home, like working from home, I am not wearing this because I don't need this type of performance at home. Even though the scent is great, the performance is overwhelming. So if I'm just going to be working on my computer doing editing at home, I'm not wearing this fragrance. I'm only wearing it in the situation I really described. And that's why, again, haven't worn it a whole lot because it gets maybe a couple wearings per summer, maybe one wearing per summer, to be honest. And I might bust it out a little bit in like the early fall too. So I'm really big on that. If I'm sitting at home, I'm wearing something that's a little bit lighter, something like a Riviera Drive, because I don't need beastly performance sitting at home. Similar to if it's a hot day outside and I go outside wearing a turtleneck sweater and I'm wondering why I'm hot. It's because I did not choose the right tool for the job. So same thing goes with a t-shirt in the winter. And I'm like, why am I cold? I didn't need that t-shirt. That t-shirt was not the right one. So that's just how I approach my fragrance wearing. Anyway, to sum this up very quickly, this is a rich aquatic. It's a little salty. It's very fresh and kind of watery, reminiscent of the ocean. But it's very strong, like I said. So it's the strength of the ocean. I know that's a phrase we've heard over the years. But there is a nice fruitiness in here, a lot of pineapple, and there's this really, really robust woodiness underneath it. I mean, ultimately, because it's so dense and so concentrated, I don't know. I was looking to see if I could find the percentage. Um, it doesn't really change on my skin. It actually is a little bit uh, linear. It doesn't really evaporate because it just literally sits on you. You spray it on, it's like you put a sock on your arm, and it's just like the sock's going to be there until you take it off, kind of thing. Uh, it's kind of like that. It's really pleasant, but you better love it because it's going to be on you for 12 plus hours. So, okay. I see Cheryl says, bro, am home and banging loud, loud, loud. I assume you mean you're wearing very, very loud fragrances at home. All right. Amita, thank you for the compliment on my hair. It is pretty messy. Thinking about getting Ganymede, is it overhyped? Hmm. Interesting question. I think that this is going to sound so dumb. I don't know if there's another way I can say this. Any fragrance that is overhyped, meaning that people are talking about it a lot, that fragrance is now overhyped. And what I mean by that is there is no one fragrance that truly deserves this type of attention because it will never live up to it. Once a fragrance becomes overhyped, no matter how good it is, it will never live up to its hype because you've now drastically increased the amount of people who are going to experience it, which now means that we've drastically increased the variability of experiences that people will have with it. So you'll have more people saying, oh my gosh, it's amazing. You'll have more people saying it's okay. And you'll have more people saying, I don't see why people like this. It's weird and nasty. So it is overhyped, but that doesn't mean it's not good, because I came to love Ganymede before it was overhyped. So if you're asking me, should you try it? Yes, try it, because chances are you've not smelled something like it. Sample it though. Do not blind buy it. Yes, blind buy. Okay, no, don't blind buy. I'm reading Sir C.R. Sniffington's comment. Essential Parfum Bois Imperial is a safer bet. I actually just wore Bois Imperial last night. I agree. It is a safer bet. It is kind of a shell of Ganymede. It's like they took pieces of Ganymede and left out some of the weird stuff. But overall, the profile itself is a little different. It's fresh in a slightly different way. It's more of a woody freshness, more so than a metallic mineral freshness. But the characters of the scents are completely related. Um, that being said, I still recommend getting a decant of Ganymede, because I do think it's a really special scent. It was kind of a trendsetter, a little bit ahead of its time. It came out a few years ago and it was a little quiet for a bit, and now it's like blowing up. So, okay, two more fragrances. Next one up here is no stranger to the channel. I've talked about it a lot, and I still think it is one of the most unique summer fragrances out there, or unique fragrances, period. It will smell a little mature to some people, maybe a little vintage, and that makes it polarizing. Not everyone's going to enjoy this. It's a very confident and specific scent personality from Amouage, Beach Hut. Again, nothing new to my channel. But man, is this stuff freaking classy. So green, green mint, green foliage, green leaves. It's woody. It smells like you're in the bush. It's on some island. You're like in the foliage, in the midst of it all. Um, Very green, but there is this glue to this, and I always say there's myrrh resin, which kind of holds everything together. It gives this very slight kind of sweet warmth in the background that gives the scent more depth, and there's more going on than that. But ultimately, if you like the idea of a mossy, woody, very like leafy, green, minty fragrance that smells maybe a little reminiscent of some stuff that came out in the 80s, with a nice, beautiful depth that is characteristic of Amouage, then get a sample. And it's also really powerful, again, for those of you who care, but I think you should know, because I don't want to catch you off guard. Sir C.R. Sniffington says it caught him off guard. Yes, it's stunning. It is like mint from the earth. It is not a hint of chewing gum or toothpaste. It is the real deal. I recommend getting Beach Hut. Man, I've tried a couple of different clones. I don't know if Somet is specifically a clone of Beach Hut, man, but I've tried a couple of clones of Beach Hut. Some came close, or one of them came very close, but there's a magic that cannot be replicated. I thoroughly believe that. There's something about Beach Hut that they just can't touch it. Jungle Bush Hut, man. Gerard, always coming in here with the fire. I totally agree. Phoenix, it looks like I may have missed a question you asked. I apologize. My music performance. I have been thinking about bringing them back. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. Isola Blue. Isola Blue is not up next. Too much controversy behind that. I can already see people getting in the comments saying this is not unique. It smells like Terre Hermes. While I don't truly believe that, I can see where they're coming from. And I just simply didn't want to deal with that pushback, so we're not doing that today. But the final fragrance is one that is new to me. I actually sampled it several months ago from Teo Cabanel. I know Teo Cabanel is not a brand you hear a lot of. I sampled this several months ago, and I liked it. I liked it. I remember like I put it like a basically a bookmark on it. I'm like, you know what? I need to come back to this one. There's something simple but beautiful about this. And then I forgot about it because I have a billion samples and I've gotten many more fragrances since then. Thank you, Dewan. Really appreciate that. I do not recommend Jubilation 25 for summer, maybe for the evenings, but it would not be my number one choice on a hot day. There's many others I would choose first. So get a sample just to see what you think. Maybe you can save it for the fall, but not my first choice for hot days. But thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Okay. Yeah, so I forgot about this. The brand reached out to me, Teo Cabanel, and they said, hey, what did you think of this fragrance? Because they were waiting for me to tell them what I thought of the sample. And I'm like, oh, that's right. You know what? Let me revisit it. So this was months later. This was like literally a few weeks ago. I sprayed it again. I'm like, I really like this. So I'm like, hey guys, could I get a bottle, please? Because that's ultimately why they, were sending me the sample, was to see if I wanted a bottle. I'm like, and they're like, of course, we've been waiting for you for months to let us know. So they sent a bottle, and it arrived yesterday. Unfortunately, it got beaten up pretty bad in transit, and it actually somehow leaked in the box. So I lost a bit of juice. This has never happened with their fragrances, so don't be afraid. This is not a common thing, but it can happen from time to time. But this fragrance is called Peau Salée, which, if I'm not mistaken, means salty skin. And the name could not be more perfect. This one is on my skin right now. It just kind of becomes your skin. Um, this is it. Excuse me. It does have a saltiness to it. There is a beautiful coconut water note, which you don't see coconut water all that often. It really does smell like coconut water. And I hate coconut water, but I like it in this. For some reason, just you guys can disregard this because if you love it, then keep loving it. Coconut water to me tastes like someone liquefied Ruffles potato chips. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what it tastes like to me. It smells like I'm drinking Ruffles potato chips. Anyway, this does not smell anything like that. There is this kind of beautiful floral quality that rounds out the scent, makes it really smooth, almost creamy. That coconut watery freshness is there, the saltiness is there. It's a beautiful scent. It's very transportive, but it's simple. And you put it on and it kind of just becomes, again, it becomes your skin, your scent. Um, it's gorgeous. I've tried a few of their most recent releases. Some of them have been okay to me. There's one, I don't remember the name of it now, but it reminded me of Gris Charnel from BDK, and I'm like, this is okay. I like Gris Charnel more than this. And then when I tried this one, I'm like, okay, this is actually really nice. Gerard is asking about the notes. Sure, I will share the notes with you guys. Why not? Let's pull it up. I'm gonna pull up my iPad here. So this is what I'm looking at. There's Peau Salée. Here are the notes. Top notes of salt and coconut water. Heart notes of frangipani and jasmine. Base notes of mineral notes, driftwood, and tonka bean. What's up, Kareem? Good to see you. Virgin Island water. This is actually nothing like Virgin Island water. Nothing like it. because it doesn't smell like coconut. This is very different from coconut. Coconut water is a different scent altogether. There's nothing beachy or suntan or sunscreen, anything about this. It's kind of round, slightly sweet, creamy, salty skin. It's lovely. Lovely stuff. Worth getting a sample. I think Tail Cabanel, I think they have samples on their site. You have to check it out. It's linked down below. Mountain Cat. Is it super sweet? No. This is not super sweet. It is a subtle sweetness. The florals are really tucked away. It doesn't smell like frangipani. It doesn't smell like jasmine. It's the feel of those notes working together to add a texture to the scent, to round it out. They're masterfully used here. Who perfumed this? Usually it will say, it doesn't say here. I wonder if I'm going to go to their website real quick because I am curious. Okay, 56 minutes in. I like to keep it around the hour mark. So we are almost done here, guys. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Sorry, here my typing under pressure is not my forte, guys. Trying to go quickly. I hope they have the perfumer on the site here. I hate it when they don't. Makes no sense. This is a collaboration with Mode Trotter. That's not a perfumer, of course. I don't know who that is. Some influencer. Either way, it's beautiful. And unfortunately, I don't see a perfumer anywhere. Guys, come on. Let us know who's making these beautiful fragrances. How hard is it? Anyway, it's lovely. Get a sample if you can. Paul Soleil from Tail Cabanel. I haven't talked about Tail Cabanel in a minute because, again, like I said, I haven't been loving all of their most recent stuff. They've been sending me samples, but this one did stand out to me. So that's going to be it, guys. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. I do have a great video coming tomorrow, which I think many of you will want to see. And I got even more fun videos coming next week, stuff that I was really happy to film and that feel very authentic and different. Hopefully something that you're not seeing everywhere on YouTube. So do stay tuned to the channel. A lot more to come. Those of you who gave super chats, thank you so much. Your support means a lot. If you didn't give a super chat, that's fine. Thank you for joining the chat and being here and sitting here with me on this Saturday. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your Saturday. I actually have to play a gig tonight, kind of a longer gig. I got to drive a little bit out of town. So I'll be figuring out what I'm going to wear for that, but I got to get stuff together before I hit the road. So thank you all. We'll talk soon. Take care.